Ever get that, like, I don't know, almost like a little tense feeling when a website just sits there, takes forever to load?
Yeah.
Or just that, sifting through spam? Like, come on, again.
Right.
It feels like we're constantly bombarded with stuff we don't want online.
It is. Yeah.
And a lot of that, a big chunk of it, comes from bots.
Yeah. A real challenge, that's for
Yeah.
sure. And always, always evolving. Like you think you figured it out,
Right.
and then they switch it up.
Yep.
And a big one these days, these AI crawlers.
Which brings us to today's deep dive. We've been looking at this really interesting Cloudflare blog article. I've got this new approach they're talking about. It's called AI Labyrinth.
Okay.
And it seems like a pretty smart way to deal with these AI crawlers and really any bot that's causing trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
So what we want to do is kind of unpack this AI labyrinth thing,
Right.
see how it ticks,
Yeah.
figure out why it matters, especially for, anyone trying to keep those pesky bots at bay.
Yeah. And do it without getting too, in the weeds, with the techie stuff.
Right, right. We want to break it down so it makes sense, give everyone some good takeaways.
Absolutely.
Okay, so first things first. What's the deal with these AI crawlers? Why are we seeing so many of them all of a sudden?
Well, as these AI models, they get more and more sophisticated, they need more data. Huge amounts of data to train on.
Yeah.
And these AI crawlers, they're like the little worker bees,
Mm-hmm.
They go out, scan websites, collect all that information.
There's a stat in the article that really, I don't know, it kind of blew my mind. AI crawlers, they make up almost 1% of all the web requests on Cloudflare's network every day.
Yeah, yeah.
That's over 50 billion requests.
Yeah, it's a lot of traffic.
That's a lot of traffic.
It's a lot of traffic.
And not all web crawling is bad.
Of course not, no. Legitimate reasons, absolutely. But a lot of these AI crawlers, they don't play by the rules.
Mm-hmm.
They ignore the signs that say, don't crawl here.
Yeah.
Like the robots.txt file.
Yeah. So you might think, well, just block them, problem solved.
Right, that's the first instinct, right?
Yeah, exactly. But is it that simple?
Not really, no. See, blocking a bot is like a temporary fix, maybe, but it tips them off. It says, hey, we see you. And then they just get smarter.
Yeah.
They change their disguises, so to speak. They start using different IPs. They get harder to spot.
It's a cat and mouse game, constantly.
Yeah, absolutely. An arms race.
An arms race, exactly. And this isn't like the first time we've tried to outsmart these digital intruders, right? I mean,
Yeah.
The article talks about honeypots just to kind of refresh everyone's memory. What exactly are honeypots and how have they been used in the past?
Oh, yeah, that's a classic. The basic idea with a honeypot is you create this system, right?
Okay.
It looks like it's vulnerable. It's tempting to attackers.
Right, you're luring them in.
You're luring them in.
Uh-huh.
So you can watch what they do.
Right, right.
Study them, understand them. The article actually mentions a pretty cool example from way back in 1986, the cuckoo's egg incident.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that where they used a fake system to track down hackers that were, like, dialing into computers?
Yeah, exactly. Through those old dial-up connections.
It looks cool.
Very old school compared to what we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, in 2004, even before Cloudflare was a thing, the founders, they actually developed Project Honeypot,
Okay.
which was all about using specific email addresses
Okay.
to figure out where all the spam was coming from.
Yeah.
So same principle, right? You attract the bad guys to a controlled environment.
Right, so you can watch them.
Exactly.
But the article suggests that these classic honeypot methods, they don't work so well against the new AI bots.
Right. That's the thing.
What's changed? Why aren't they falling for the same old tricks?
Well, these AI bots, they're getting smarter.
Yeah.
They're actually looking for the signs of a honeypot.
Really?
Like hidden links or weird patterns in the website's code.
Mhm.
They're learning to avoid the traps.
So they know what to look for.
Exactly.
That's wild.
So you need a more subtle approach, a smarter approach. And that's where AI Labyrinth comes in.
Okay, AI Labyrinth sounds kind of, I don't know, almost mysterious, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
So instead of just, a straight block, Cloudflare is doing something totally different. What's the basic idea?
It's all about using AI-generated content as a defense. So instead of just blocking the suspected bot, they give it this whole network of web pages.
Okay.
Then all those pages, they're created by AI.
So it's like fighting AI with AI. That's kind of ironic, right?
You could say that.
Yeah.
The main point is that AI-generated content, it's got to look real.
Okay.
So the bot gets tricked into exploring it. It follows the links, goes deeper and deeper into this digital maze.
But this isn't the actual content of the website they're trying to protect, is it? It's more like a distraction.
Exactly. A clever distraction.
Right.
It's like leading the bot down this winding path of information that doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
And that's where the benefit comes in for the website owner.
Right.
Because the bot, it wastes its time and, even more importantly, its computing power on data that's useless for training its AI models.
So it thinks it's getting this big meal,
Right.
this feast of data,
Right.
but it's just junk food.
Yeah, exactly. Empty calories, no nutritional value.
I love it. So how do they actually build this labyrinth? It sounds pretty complex.
Well, it uses a few different pieces of Cloudflare's tech.
Mm.
They've got this Workers AI platform,
Yeah.
and it uses an open-source AI model to generate these unique HTML pages.
Okay.
But it's not just, random gibberish.
Right.
They make sure the content is varied,
Okay.
covers lots of different
You
topics,
see.
makes it look even more real.
The article mentions a pre-generation pipeline.
Right.
Why do they do that? Wouldn't it be easier to just generate the content as they go, like when they detect a suspicious bot?
Well, think about it. Generating all that unique content on the fly every time they encounter a bot,
Right.
that could really slow things down for the website.
Oh, that makes sense.
So they pre-generate a bunch of this AI content for speed, but also security. They sanitize it, make sure there's no nasty vulnerabilities that could be exploited.
Okay, so even the decoy content, you got to keep it secure. Makes sense. And where do they store all this pre-generated stuff so it's ready to go when they need it?
It all goes into Cloudflare's R2 object storage, which is built for, really fast retrieval.
Okay.
So when a bot trips the AI labyrinth, those decoy pages, they load up quickly,
Okay.
just like they're part of a real website.
Right. And the article, it really emphasizes that this generated content, it's factual, it's based on science, but it's irrelevant to the actual website. Why is that so important?
Well, they don't want to accidentally contribute
Yeah.
to, the spread of misinformation.
Right. Yeah.
That would be a bad thing. So they stick to established scientific facts, but across a broad range of subjects.
Okay.
That way they can create these plausible-looking pages
Right.
without spreading any fake news.
Okay, that makes sense. So they've got this huge library of AI-generated pages. How do they actually sneak these links into a website so that only the AI bots see them?
It's all done through this special HTML transformation process.
Yeah.
Cloudflare, they weave these AI-generated links right into the existing code of the website.
Okay.
But they do it in a way that doesn't mess up the original content or hurt the website's search engine ranking.
Okay.
They use, meta tags to tell search engines, hey, don't index these Labyrinth pages.
So if I'm browsing the site, I wouldn't even see these extra links, right? It's all happening behind the scenes.
Exactly. The links they're hidden in plain sight,
Uh-huh.
styled and coded so they're invisible to humans.
Wow.
And even better, they're only shown to visitors that Cloudflare thinks are probably unauthorized AI scrapers,
Okay.
legitimate users,
Mm-hmm.
search engine crawlers that follow the rules.
Yeah.
They see the normal website.
It's like a secret section of the website, just for bots. That's pretty slick. The article also calls AI Labyrinth a next-generation honeypot. How does that fit in?
Well, think about how people actually browse the web.
Right.
Okay. No one's going to click on a bunch of random AI-generated links and spend their time reading stuff that's totally irrelevant to what they're looking for.
Right. Wouldn't make any sense.
Exactly. So if a bot keeps clicking deeper and deeper into this fake content, that's a pretty good sign it's not a real person.
So the more they explore this fake stuff, the more obvious it is that they're a bot.
Exactly. And all that activity, it gives Cloudflare's machine learning models tons of valuable data.
Okay.
They can see which bots are falling for the trap,
Yeah, right.
how they're moving through the labyrinth, and they use that to make their bot detection algorithms even better.
It's almost like the bots are helping to train the system that's designed to stop them. That's pretty clever.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. They call it a beneficial feedback loop in the article.
Oh, yeah.
Every time a scraper gets caught in the AI labyrinth, it makes the protection stronger for everyone using Cloudflare.
Yeah, makes sense. So for someone who, actually runs a website, how hard is it to set up this AI Labyrinth thing? Do you need to be a coding whiz?
Oh, no. The article makes it clear that it's super easy. If you're already a Cloudflare customer, all you gotta do is flick a switch in your dashboard.
Really? Just one switch? No, complicated settings or anything?
Nope, just one toggle, and boom, AI Labyrinth is up and running. No extra setup needed, anyone can use it no matter how tech savvy they are.
That's really impressive. So what about the future? The article mentions that Cloudflare is already working on, making AI Labyrinth even better. What are they thinking about doing?
Well, this is just the beginning, really. They're looking at ways to make that AI-generated content even harder to tell apart from real website content.
Okay.
Maybe tailoring it to match the specific look and feel of each website.
So the labyrinth could get even more convincing, even trickier for those bots.
Exactly. Make that fake environment even more realistic.
Yeah, yeah.
Really up the ante.
That's fascinating. It's a really smart way to use AI, not just for potentially bad stuff, but for good too. So as we wrap up our deep dive into AI Labyrinth, what are the big takeaways for our listeners?
Well, the key message here is that AI Labyrinth, it's a proactive way of dealing with these unwanted AI trawlers.
Yeah.
Instead of just blocking them head on, it uses AI-generated content to throw them off track,
Yeah.
waste their time and resources, and at the same time, it acts as this advanced honeypot, collecting information that helps make bot detection even better.
Yeah. And for you, the listener, hopefully this has given you a clearer picture of how technology is evolving. To protect content online, to keep those resources safe from misuse, you've got a glimpse into this cutting edge solution without needing to be a tech expert.
Absolutely.
Which brings us to a thought-provoking question for you to consider. We're seeing AI-generated content everywhere these days.
Yeah, more and more.
So how do we make sure we can still tell what's real and what's not just with bots, but in all parts of our online lives? That's something to think about as AI keeps getting more and more advanced.
Definitely something to ponder, yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll be back next time with another fascinating look at the world of tech.
See you then.